So, once upon a time, I was asked three very interesting questions. And today I thought just to record those questions with my answers. So, the first question was Mario, in all your experience across this life, other lives, and other dimensional planes, what is the true nature of consciousness? Not as a concept, but as a living, perceivable reality. How can any being reliably recognize and align with a sense within themselves? So my response was that's an amazing question. And this is what I said. To get to the true nature of consciousness, we first need to try and define what it is to be conscious. I see consciousness as a state of awareness of oneself, as there are many beings on this planet living, understanding, and interacting, but not conscious. So, what do I mean with being aware of oneself? Well, that thought or notion of knowing you are alive. And then, if in that understanding of being, you ask yourself, who am I? What am I? And what do I feel about that? That for me is the spark of being conscious. That for me is where free will starts. As you are deciding to interpret yourself as a creature, a being that has a choice about itself. From that point, you have the opportunity to exercise your free will, to make decisions to improve what or who you are, if what or who you are is not to your liking. You can stay as you are, or evolve, change, or become different, all as an outcome of your own free will. You are then not slave to programming, ritual, habit. You are not bound by what you consume, what you are shown, taught, or forced to do or to be. You can choose whether the choice you make are correct or the biggest mistakes. They are yours to make. Then I would add that you have the opportunity to learn from those choices. So, in short, what is the true nature of consciousness? In my opinion, I would say it is self awareness, to put your free will into action and having the courage to learn from the outcome of your implemented free will. Then the guy who interviewed me went a little step further and asked a follow up question and said, when you speak of learning from the outcome of implemented free will, do you see it as this learning as purely intellectual, or is it something deeper, like a resonance and embodied knowledge in the being itself that shifts the way it perceives reality and itself permanently? um, and my response was as follows. That's an excellent follow-up question. On the surface, one would look at the outcome of a choice and then decide if one liked it or not. If you liked it, then you know mechanically to make the same decisions in the same situation every time. If the outcome was undesirable, one would look at the decision made and pick a new avenue to base your choices on to get a different result. By repeating these steps, you would always end up creating a desired outcome. But this is purely mechanical and can be simulated by unconscious beings. So, in my view, it is deeper. You see, if I feel that we are not here to learn lessons, sorry, reading that a bit incorrectly. Let's start over again. That is an excellent follow up question. On the surface, one would look at the outcome of a choice and then decide if one liked it or not. If you liked it, then you know mechanically to make the same decision in the same situation every time. If the outcome was undesirable, one would look at the decision made and pick new avenues to base your choices on to get a different result. By repeating these steps, you would always end up creating the desired outcome. But this is purely mechanical and can be simulated by unconscious beings. So, in my view, it is deeper. You see, I feel that we are not here to learn lessons, but to remember who we are. To learn from the outcome is more like remembering past wisdoms from this life or others. A remembering, i.e., a re putting together of the pieces of free will are making up, you are made up of. So even though the practical mechanics are important to process a conscious being, we'll use these steps to reconnect to deeper wisdom, deeper knowledge of who and what it is. Then the interviewer went and took the next out of the park big question and asked me, from your understanding of energy, intention, and the patterns that govern life. If humanity could collectively embody one principle or insight right now that would transform our species' trajectory, what would it be? And how could it manifest practically without forcing or controlling anyone? So, this was actually an easy one to answer. And my response was as follows. So, one principle would be that there is enough for all to be equal: enough money, enough food, enough earth to live on, enough control, enough growth, enough of everything one can think of for all to have their full and still be equal to the being next to them. Then, then there would be no need for rulers to rule. Instead, we could have teachings, guidings. Uh, sorry, guys, the noise outside with the garden service is throwing me off here. Then there would be no need for rulers to rule. Instead, we could have teachers teaching and guiding. We would not have to work to make the rich richer and see the poor having less, as all would have the same income, the same riches, the same living conditions. So no one would have to take from anyone else. No one would have to belittle anyone or fight for their place in the sun. And then the last question that I was asked was, having observed love, creation, and divine expression across planes, dimensions, and life forms, what is the unifying principle that threads all of existence together? And how can humans tune into it to live in harmony with a full spectrum of reality? And well, I had to think about this one for a little bit, and then I responded to that one would think the answer was quantum mechanics, human interaction, or the understanding of principles of the universe. But I think Einstein said it best when he described love as a universal force that governs all others, a force that science has yet to be fully understand. He also connected love to gravity, light, and power, suggesting it's a fundamental force that binds the universe and inspires humanity. I feel unconditional love is the thing that keeps it all together. The creator of everything loved his creation so much he gave us free will, the one thing that he could not control, could not take back, the one thing all that is could not override. Then, wanting to experience everything that was known and loving the possibility that so much can unfold, regardless of what that free will could become. In our case here on earth, it has become dark, mischievous, backstabbing, cruel. It's become greedy, etc., etc., etc. With love, with kindness, with all the other things. And by experiencing all that, the creator of everything knew that he would love every single moment with no judgment, no recall, and just that deep, true love. So, once again, the answer was actually quite easily, even though the definition is deep. The answer is true, unconditional love is the thing that keeps everything together. So, let me know what your thoughts are if you were asked these three questions. And maybe if you want to discuss them, we can get together on a live and see what you have to say. So, that's me for the second live on YouTube. If you're watching this, give me some feedback, give me some comments, and give me your opinion.